In a quiet, lush village nestled between thick forests and winding rivers, lived a young man named Emeka. He was known for his kindness, a spirit as calm as the early morning mist, and a hard-working nature that earned him the respect of the villagers. But Emeka harbored a longing, a desire for companionship, for a love that would bring warmth to his days and share his quiet moments. He hoped, prayed, and trusted that one day he would meet the woman of his dreams. One evening, while returning from a neighboring village, Emeka took a shortcut through the forest. He had walked this path many times, but tonight, the forest felt different, charged with an energy he couldn't quite explain. As the shadows grew longer, he felt a strange pull, a tug deep within his chest that urged him to look toward the riverbank. There, bathed in the silvery glow of moonlight, stood a woman more beautiful than he'd ever seen. Her skin glowed with a soft, ethereal light, and her eyes sparkled like the stars above. Her name, he soon discovered, was Adaobi. She was captivating, a mystery wrapped in elegance and quiet charm. Emeka was immediately drawn to her, and, for reasons he couldn't quite explain, he felt as though he'd known her for a lifetime. The two spoke by the river, their conversation flowing as easily as the water beside them. Adaobi was as enchanting in spirit as she was in appearance, gentle yet witty, wise but playful. It was like she could see right into his heart, answering his questions before he even voiced them. "Do you come to this river often?" he asked, eyes fixed on her with a curiosity that bordered on awe. Adaobi gave him a small, secretive smile. "Only when the river calls to me." This answer only intrigued him further, but before he could press, she took his hand gently. A shiver ran up his arm, and in her touch, he felt both warmth and a strange chill. "Perhaps fate brought us here," Adaobi whispered, her gaze intense. "Perhaps we were meant to meet tonight." In the days that followed, Emeka found himself thinking of Adaobi constantly. Their encounter had left him breathless, bewitched by her beauty and mystery. He returned to the river every evening, hoping she would be there again. And she was. Each evening, they met at the same spot, speaking for hours about dreams, life, then love, while the moon watched over them. Soon, their connection grew deeper, and Emeka began to believe that Adaobi was the woman he'd been waiting for. She was perfect, almost too perfect. But just as his heart swelled with joy, a creeping doubt started to gnaw at him, a quiet voice in the back of his mind. One day, as he prepared to meet her, an elderly village woman, known for her wisdom and tales of the past, stopped him. She watched him closely, her gaze piercing and thoughtful. "Emeka," she called out, her voice low and warning. "I see you are happy these days, lost in the company of a beautiful woman." Emeka's face brightened. "Yes, Mama, her name is Adaobi. I believe she might be the one for me." The old woman's expression darkened. "Be careful, my son. Not all beauty is as it seems. The forest hides many secrets, and not every visitor by the river is human." Emeka laughed nervously, brushing off her warning. "Mama, you've been listening to too many old tales. Adaobi is gentle, kind, and I feel like I've known her all my life." The old woman held his gaze, a knowing sadness in her eyes. "Remember, Emeka, some secrets are meant to stay hidden, but it doesn't mean they won't find you. Watch her closely, for sometimes, what the heart sees is an illusion." Shaken but determined to brush off the elder's words, Emeka met Adaobi that evening with the same eagerness. But this time, he paid more attention to her movements, her words, even her silences. As they talked, he noticed little things he hadn't before, how her gaze sometimes seemed to linger just a moment too long, how she always stood just beyond the shadow of the trees, never quite under the full moonlight. As they prepared to part, Emeka reached out to take her hand, but this time, it felt colder, almost like the touch of a river stone. She pulled away quickly, her eyes flashing briefly with something he couldn't name, fear, perhaps. But just as quickly, her warmth returned, and she smiled. Until tomorrow, Emeka, she whispered, melting back into the shadows as if she were part of the forest itself. He stood by the riverbank, staring at the place she had disappeared, his mind swirling with questions. Who was she, really? And why did her touch leave him feeling both enchanted and chilled? As he walked home, the words of the village elder echoed in his mind, not every visitor by the river is human. Emeka's heart was torn between the thrill of love and the haunting feeling of an unknown truth. Little did he know, the mystery of Adaobi was only beginning to unravel, and what he would discover might change his life forever.